Larry Shaw, to me, was the ultimate genuine gentleman's gentleman. No matter who he was with, who he talked about, whatever he did, he was just a gentleman.
Larry and I were, we were married for 59 years, and I knew him for 6 years before that, so I knew him pretty well. And he was a rabid sports fan and participant. That was his main interest when I first knew him. He was a detail type person and a numbers person.
His friends that he grew up with called him Details. That was his nickname, and it fit him perfectly. He was full of details. If you went on a trip with him, he planned everything.
The quality and the service that we provide the dealers was good enough that every time we came to this market, well, for many years, we were totally sold out for the season before the market started. So that was Larry Shaw.
Bill was a real salesman type, and Larry was a really detailed type person, and he could get the furniture out the back door if Bill could sell it, and Bill could sell it.
He always kept our costs low, and for 30 years produced merchandise that had less than 1/3 or 1% complaints and so forth. We had to ship things on time.
Larry was something of an innovator, I think. He wasn't satisfied to just do the same old thing.
Salesmen are always saying, you know, if you just reduce the price, you know, you get so much more volume and you'd make up additional profit on the volume. And Larry had this axiom of doing business. He says, if you sell a product and you lose a little bit of money on every piece, and you sell a lot of pieces, you lose a lot of money.
Larry had a wonderful, dry sense of humor. And when people caught on to that, they just loved it.
Furniture markets are grueling, just wear you out type events. And every market he would do it in front of a crowd. He would say, "This is what I feel like at the end of market." He would take his shoes off and set his glasses on his shoes, and there was nothing left, if you can imagine what the picture is. Imagine a pair of shoes sitting there and a pair of glasses sitting on those shoes, and he says, "This is what's left of me after market." And we would do that every market for a different crowd, and everybody always rolled. It was so funny.
When we went to the U.S. Opens, every once in a while, Larry would just go over near the woods and lay down and fall asleep. And so we were in Toledo, where Joe grew up, watching the Open, and Larry got tired and he went over and laid down beside a tee. Of course, none of the players had gotten that far. And then all of a sudden, when he wakes up, there's 2,000 people standing around. He was really embarrassed.
When Bill and Larry would go to New York for the furniture market, they had to set up the showroom ahead of time, on Friday maybe. But then New York closed down on Saturday and Sunday. The furniture show didn't start till Monday morning. So they went up there and did that once or twice, and his wife, Ruth, and I found out about that. And we said, "Wait a minute, we'd like to go to New York with you."
Our wives came to New York. We traveled. We took boat rides around Manhattan Island. We found out the best value in town was a Staten Island ferry for a nickel in those days, and we always had to check out all the best right away, the best restaurants, and our wives began to get charge accounts. Larry was getting at the office the credit information requests from B. Altman Company and Lord and Taylor, and Bloomingdale's, and so forth. And those were great times.
He and Bill were a good team. They were funny. Bill was very funny, still is. And it was good to be around him.
He's kind of the guy that would call a spade, and was very detailed thinking. kind of a guy. And when we would take psychological tests while we were on the opposite ends of the spectrum, which made us, in a way, a good partner.
You know, he often said that he was proud of the fact that he employed people and gave them a living, and he loved to mentor people. He took a lot of young people right out of high school to work in his office, and they stayed with him, and he watched them grow.
I think about Larry Shaw just about every day, the honest truth. The words opportunities abound in this economic environment. There's a lot of us who are struggling trying to find answers, and every day I remind myself that there's opportunities abound. So I would say that he never looked at negatives. He always thought positive and tried to share that with the rest of us. Larry's got a wonderful family, and your question is, what is he most proud of? I would have to say his family. Those grandchildren, he never stopped talking about the grandchildren, shared stories of each and every one of the kids all the time, and kept me and my wife in the loop of their family as if we were an extended family. He was extremely proud of Jo and everything she's all about.
Grandchildren are from 17 to 5. They're the delight of my life, and they were the delight of his life.
I can't think of anybody more deserving than Larry. I can't think of anybody who tried harder to help his industry. He was very visible. He was very promoting of the industry. He was very proud of his industry. He was very dedicated to it. And he loved the people that he worked with in the industry. So I'm very happy that he's getting this award.
I was very overcome, still am. I wish it had happened 5 years ago when he could have enjoyed it, but that isn't always the case. So I'm very thankful that he's been recognized.
I think he'll be pleased by that they did remember that he was here and was very good at what he did.
No, I loved him. He's a nice man.